Make big! Oil paid! Make big! Oil paid! Make big! Oil paid!
Y'all ready to take some action today? Yeah! We need to let big oil hear loud and clear from us.
Clean up! Clean up!
When I say big oil, you say pay up. Big oil.
Pay up!
Big oil.
Pay up!
Woo!
Hey! Ho ho! Chevron has got to go! Hey! Ho ho! Hey! Ho ho! Chevron has got to go! Hey! Ho ho! Chevron has got to go!
It's a whole lot different in a place like Richmond, California, in my backyard, where I look out my front living room window and I see the smoke plumes coming up from the Richmond Chevron refinery. It's not a nice thing when we think about the poorest people in the world have to suffer the injustices of those that inhabit places like this. We want you to all understand that these robbers, crooks, and killers, they also come in three-piece suits and ties. Here is environmental injustice. Environmental injustice, when they can pour the pollution in my neighborhood, make me breathe it, and tell me that I should love it. But it's all right, Chevron. You make money, Chevron. You make money and I go to the graveyard. You go to the bank, I go to the graveyard. What justice is that? No more. No more. We will not take your garbage anymore. Chevron, we demand climate justice.
When I say Chevron, you say clean up. Chevron.
Clean up!
Chevron.
Clean up!
Empire, shut it down. Climate justice, we want it now.
Shut it down! Want it now! Shut it down! Want it now!
Oil empire.
Shut it down!
Climate justice.
Want it now!
We are the people.
2, 11 letters! 3, we are building real solutions!
He signed it because there was a grassroots movement that valued clean air, that valued clean water. And we have these laws on the books that people fought long and hard for, like the Clean Air Act, that could be used today to curb global warming and could be used to put a real stop to oil spills, a long-term stop to oil spills, to stop our addiction to oil.
Big oil.
Pay up!
Big oil.
Pay up!
When I say BP, you say clean up. BP.
Clean up! Clean up!
When I'm big oil.
Pay up!
When I say BP, you say clean up. BP.
Clean up!
BP.
Clean up!
When I say big oil, you say pay up. Big oil.
Pay up! Pay up!
They're holding us hostage. They're not letting us in.
We are at BP's San Francisco offices, and if everyone can gather, you can see that we've got our allies who are blockading and shutting down BP's offices, shutting them down to force them to take notice, to pay up, to clean up, and they've got a lot of work to do. This is oil from the Macondo well. That's BP's well that has now leaked 4 million gallons of oil into the Gulf of Mexico, the largest oil spill in world history. I'm also holding up the cap of a baby's sippy cup soaked in oil from the Macondo well that I just picked up off the beach 3 days ago in Alabama. If you've been hearing media reports, according to BP, according to the Obama administration, the oil is gone. The problem solved, right? This is thick tar from a beach 3 days ago in Alabama. What we now know is, using the same data that BP provided, using the same data that the government provided, we know that 80% of the oil remains in the Gulf of Mexico. It's been mixed with dispersants, it's been mixed with chemicals, it's floating in the ocean. You cannot go to the Gulf in a boat and not encounter it. You cannot go to a beach and not encounter it. 80% of the oil is there, and the oil needs to be cleaned up. What's happened now is that BP is no longer cleaning it up. They don't have their cleanup workers. They don't have the Vessels of Opportunity program operating. You used to go to beaches in the Gulf and you would see cleanup workers. You would see crews working. Now you don't. This spill, the largest oil spill in world history, a spill caused by BP, caused by Transocean, is caused at the end by the oil industry. And we started at Chevron. The oil industry is operating in the Gulf of Mexico with pure impunity. When BP put out its plan for what it would do if there was an oil spill, its danger preparedness plan, that plan did things like protect for walruses. There are no walruses in the Gulf of Mexico. Walruses are in the Arctic. All they did was cut and paste their Arctic plan.
I don't know if y'all have noticed, but while Antonia was speaking, our friends with the parachute banner have occupied and blockaded that intersection. Let's give them a hand. Let's give a big thank you to
and also marked 4 months since the Gulf spill began. It's only right that after we take time to commemorate and remember all the people who lost their lives and who suffered from a climate disaster caused by an addiction to oil, that we also take time to do what our government's not doing. And that is to hold big oil accountable to for their role in the destruction of people's lives and the earth, and demand that they do the right thing. Let me hear you if that's why you're here today. Our friends from the Head Rush Performance crew, they unpacked a whole lot for us earlier about all the agencies and government processes and economic entities that are part of this root cause of the problem of our addiction to oil. But big oil is the most significant direct cause of the climate instability we face today. It plays out in the world's major institutions, including the U.S. military complex, which is the world's single largest greenhouse gas polluter. It also plays out in our food manufacturing system, in the systems that manufacture all the stuff that clutter up our lives. And today we're targeting Chevron and BP for being leaders in an insane quest to continue pursuing oil despite its impacts.
My first question is, why are my fingers numb? I want to know, when I picked up that tar ball mixed with Corexit, on the first day oil came in to East Bay at the bottom of the Bird's Foot Delta, how come ever since then I can't feel these two fingers? Can you answer that? I want to know why every time I go into Barataria Bay, I see porpoises swimming around in an oily sheen, coming up and gasping for air. They're choking. Why, BP? Why are you killing our dolphins? BP, I want to know why you have your vessels and your containment vessels in the Gulf of Mexico retrofitted with boom, wrapping around oil and burning it, sending God knows how much CO2 into the atmosphere. you doing that, BP? Don't you care about Mother Earth? Don't you care about the fish in the sea? BP, I also want to know, why are you burning sea turtles alive in the Gulf of Mexico? How come when you're doing these controlled burnings, you're just letting sea turtles covered in oil get burned alive when they can just get rescued? I think I know the answer to that, and I think it has to do with profits.
We successfully blockaded the front of the BP building and made our voices heard, held traffic. We've been out here for hours getting louder and louder and louder to show solidarity with Gulf Coast communities. And we want to invite everyone to come and help tape up the doors to leave a lasting gift for BP so they don't forget who's here and why we're here. We'll be back!
We'll be back!
We'll be back!
We'll be